Imagine pressing one key and instantly performing an entire DJ transition automatically. Sounds like cheating, right? It's called custom mapping, and today I'm going to show you cheat codes I genuinely wish I discovered years ago. We'll start with the essential cheat codes, then move into powerful transition shortcuts, before finishing with advanced scratching and performance mappings. To get started, click the gear icon in the top right corner to open Settings. Then navigate to the Controllers tab. Think of this section as the brain of your setup. It's where you decide what every key on your keyboard or controller should do. If this is your first time creating custom mappings, open the Mapping Preset menu and select Factory Default Legacy. This gives you a clean starting point for experimenting with shortcuts. And if anything goes wrong, you can always switch back to your original mapping. Our first shortcut will be simple, but it's one you'll probably use all the time. We're going to create keys for loading songs directly onto Deck 1 and Deck 2. To create this shortcut, head back to the Controller section and choose a key you'd like to assign. I'll use the left bracket key. When the mapping panel opens, you'll notice two main areas. At the top is the Action text box. This is where you type the command you want Virtual DJ to execute. Below that are the Category and Action lists, which help you browse available commands along with a description explaining what each one does. To load a track, the basic action is simply Load, but we want this shortcut to always target Deck 1, regardless of which deck is currently active. To do that, type Deck 1 Load. Notice the pattern. Deck 1 tells Virtual DJ which deck to control, and Load tells it what to do. Now repeat the same process for another key, and enter Deck 2 Load. And just like that, you have two dedicated loading shortcuts, one that always loads the selected track onto Deck 1, and another that always loads it onto Deck 2. Most of the time, you'll be moving the crossfader manually, but in some situations, your hands are busy, and that's where automation becomes powerful. Instead of reaching for the crossfader, you can assign a key to move it for you. To create this shortcut, choose any key you want from the Controllers panel. Then in the Action box, type auto_crossfade 5000 milliseconds. Auto_crossfade tells Virtual DJ to move the crossfader automatically, and 5000 milliseconds is the duration of the movement. Since 1000 milliseconds equals 1 second, this means our crossfader will move over a 5-second transition. You can always adjust the timing depending on your style. Shorter times create fast, sharp transitions, and longer times create smooth, gradual blends. This cheat code gives you full control over how your transitions feel, even when you're not touching the crossfader. Now let's move into another essential part of mixing, the equalizers. Equalizers control how your music is shaped by adjusting 3 main frequency bands. And most DJs don't know this, but you can switch your frequency knobs to stems mode just by clicking the EQ section, giving you far more creative freedoms when doing transitions or mashups. Come here, rude boy, boy, can you get it up? Come here, rude boy, boy, is you big enough? Take it, yeah. To control the highs, choose any key in the Controllers panel and type the code EQ_high 0%. In this case, 0% brings the high frequencies all the way down. If you change it to 100%, it restores the highs fully. And if you set it to 50%, it resets the control back to neutral. You can use any percentage between 0 and 100 to position the knob. For the other band, you can apply the same logic, but just change the codes to EQ_mid for mids and EQ_low for the lows. Once you understand this pattern, you can build extremely fast equalizer controls that let you shape your sound instantly without touching the mixer. Now let's move into something that really brings your mixes to life: effects. Let's start with a simple example, the phaser effect. To create a shortcut for this effect, choose any key in the controller's panel and type the code effect_active phaser. This command turns the effect on and off. The name of the effect comes after the command, and you can always replace it with a different effect. Now here's where it gets more interesting. You can combine multiple effects into one shortcut. To do that, you use the AND symbol. Think of it as telling Virtual DJ, do this and then do this too. For example, if you want to trigger phaser and beatgrid at the same time, you would type effect_active phaser and effect_active beatgrid. Now both effects fire instantly with a single key press. This effect is used to fade out the last sound of a track using echoes, creating a smooth exit and giving you space to bring in the next song. It works especially well even when two tracks have completely different BPMs. Instead of triggering this transition manually, we're going to map it to a shortcut. Start by choosing any key you want. I'll use Q. In the action box, type the following code. The first part of this code tells Virtual DJ to check which deck is currently playing audio, and then the second part of the code applies the echo out effect only to that deck. This means you can never accidentally trigger it on the wrong side. Now we still need the second part of the transition, switching to the next track. So go ahead and choose another key, I'll use W, and type the following code. Together, these two shortcuts create a full transition system, one key for the fade out and one key for the switch. Now let's break out another powerful transition technique, cut and drop. Cut and drop is a fast, high-energy transition style in which you skip all track blending and move instantly from one track to the next. It works best at moments like the end of a chorus, a drop, or any peak energy section in your mix.
You ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him.
Now here's something interesting. The cut and drop transition doesn't actually need its own mapping script. And that's because the shortcut we created earlier in the echo out transition already performs the exact deck switching technique needed for a cut and drop. That means one setup gives you two completely different styles.
Ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him.
Now let's move into something a little more unexpected, scratching inside Virtual DJ without a controller. Virtual DJ has a built-in feature that lets you simulate scratch movements using simple codes. Think of it as Virtual DJ reading a sequence of characters and translating them into scratch movements automatically. To create a Scratch DNA shortcut, go back to the controller's panel and choose any key you want. Then type Scratch_DNA followed by a sequence of letters. Each sequence produces a different scratch pattern. Simple letter combinations will create basic scratch movements, while more complex sequences create more advanced scratch rhythms. This allows you to build your own scratch style without touching a controller. Once again, my name is Young Simba and I make virtual DJ tutorials. If this video helps you out, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.